After looking at the sample program for the female collegiate basketball player, looking at the different mesocycles and the difference between her training styles between in-season and off-season, you can tell that the author really wanted to focus on, especially during in-season, which is going to be from November 21st through April 3rd. The author created 3 mesocycles, and including her tournament training during these times, she's really focusing on high power. A lot of her, during her weeks, she's doing 80% of 1RM, 75% 1RM during these mesocycles. She has 4 loading weeks and then 1 week for unloading. And during that week, she's about doing 60 to 65% of her 1RM. She also has some for her, instead of her core workouts and exercises, her assisted exercises. She's doing about 10 reps for her competitive period. During this time frame, she's also working on power exercises, like not necessarily, but for also maintenance. She's like doing some hip sleds, some push press, some hang clean, from front squats, push jerk, which are all gonna be very necessary for her in season. And then during this time period, after her training period, which is for 4 weeks, she has a tournament. During these times, they're alternating between games and practice, or also any type of training. She's doing a resistance and then practice, a plyometric practice, and then interval sprinting practice, which just allow her to have set enough time for any recovery period before playing and before practices, so that she's not overthrown by any soreness. After her end season time, we have our postseason, which is also known as our second transition, which is going to be April 4th through May 1st, which looks like during that time period she may or may not be training. It doesn't really state within the book, but I don't think that during that time period she'll just be resting. After that, going into her off season, which is her preparation period, it's going to be 3.5 months long, about 14 weeks, and it's going from May 2nd to August 7th. Before that, they have a week of initial pre-testing. They're basically seeing how much she could do for 5RM, 10RM, and other testings that don't have a specific title to them. During this period of her off season, she has different mesocycles, about 5. And during this time period, she's really focusing on high volume. It looks like she has 3 sets of 5. Some workouts can range from 3 sets of 10, 2 sets of 10, 3 sets of 25. During these times, she's really focusing on 80% of 5RM. It also looks like 70% of 10RM for her mesocycles. During this time, she's trying to increase intensity as well, or moderate intensity, and have a high volume. During these times, she also has, it looks like during mesocycle 1, during her off season, they're training for hypertrophy, strength, and endurance, which they consider it phase 1 of this. During mesocycle 2, she has basic strength phase, so that's when they start bringing in the 80% of the 5RM. Back to that first mesocycle, for the hypertrophy and strength endurance, she's doing about 65 of 5RM and about 10 reps each. And then after that, she has an unloading week. During that time frame, she is doing the same amount of sets, 3 sets, but about 5 reps. And during this time, her intensity is about 70% of her 5 RM. During mesocycle 3, they're going back to hypertrophy and strength endurance. Phase 1, she's training 4 days out of the week. During this time, she is having, it looks like her endurance has dropped between 60 to 75% of her 10 RM. It looks like they're focusing really on a 10 rep max for week 2. And then for week 1, she's doing 65 to 70 RM for also 10 reps per rep, 10 RM. During her mesocycle 4, which is basic strength phase 2, it looks like they're upping the amount of sets that she has and lowering the amount of reps to build up her strength. It looks like they're doing 80% of her 5 RM. They're doing back squats, bench press, lunges, some leg curls. During this time, that was for week 1, week 2, they are still doing about the same amount of sets and reps, but their intensity is increasing. They are doing about 85% for all those workouts for a 5 RM to 6 RM. And then for her unloading week, she's dropping to about 70% 5 RM. And during this time frame, she's doing her hang snatches, her back squats, push jerk, and now going into her mesocycle number 5, which is strength and power phase 1. She is doing, for week 1, they're focusing about an 80 all the way to 90% of her 3 RM. She's really, it looks like for a lot of her core exercises, she's doing about 4 to 5 sets with a smaller range of reps. She's doing about 3. And for her assistant one, she's doing about 6. And then week 2, she's focusing on same thing as well, but she's raising up her intensity up to 85% and 95% of her 3 RM. And during this time frame after, we have our unloading week from August 1st through the 7th. She is dropping her reps to 3, and her intensity is dropping down to 70% of her 3 RM for a lot of her workouts. Now going into her postseason, they have a post-testing during this time frame. They're testing out her 1 RMs for her core exercises, her 1 RM for her non-power core exercises, and other testings like I had said earlier, which would be like a vertical jump. It could be a body composition, a sit and reach. And after that, going back into the big macro cycle, we have from August 14th through November 21st, which would be the first transition. And after that, it would go right back into her in-season play. A lot of her workouts during her in-season, they look about 80 to 85% of her 1 RM throughout the week. And eventually, through week 1 through week 4, it raises from 75 to 95% of her RM. They look like they're training on 10 RM, 4 RM, 6 RM, so they kind of range. During her mesocycle number 2 of her in-season, they are focusing on maintaining during in-season so that she's able to focus on her core specific sport. During this time, they're doing a lot of 5 RM, so about 60% of her 5 RM she's focusing. They're doing a lot of hang cleans, front squats, step ups. her mesocycle number 3, same thing. They are going from 75% of her 1RM all the way to 90% of her 1RM. And during this time, she is gaining, or not gaining, but necessarily, but maintaining what she has.